let's focus on corruption now and the fight against corruption, right? The Office of the Special Prosecutor finally coming out to say they'll proceed to charge the former finance minister and some other officials of the GRA because of the SML deal. I want us to hear from Manasseh Azuri, who's joining us from the US, but what we'll do is that first, let's listen to excerpts of that address by the OSP, then we set matters into context.
Also, the OSP will recover a total amount of 125 million cedis from SML by way of a disgorgement of unjust enrichment of overpayment by the return of the benefit of this amount it obtained unfairly at the expense of the Republic. This amount was arrived on two considerations. First, the participation of SML in the public revenue assurance regime was based on largely undeserved automatic performance. Second, the figure was adjusted on a quantum meru basis. This is a legal doctrine that developed the English common law as a form of implied contract or quasi-contract to ensure that the person who conferred a benefit on another received compensation, even when no valid contract existed. The courts introduced the doctrine as an equitable remedy to prevent unjust enrichment, recognizing that fairness sometimes required payment even without an enforceable agreement. In the present context, the OSP configured the doctrine in respect of adjusting the fair value of the investments made by SML in pursuance of performing its obligations under the various contracts, even where the contracts were procured unlawfully and even where services were minimally performed or not performed at all, on the back of SML's reasonable expectations created under the various contracts which were awarded to it by high-ranking public officials who represented ostensible authority and statutory and regulatory compliance to that private company. The investments include the setting up and maintenance of two offices by SML, one in Accra and the other in Tema, the hiring of employees, the payment of employees' salaries and attendant statutory payments, the acquisition of vehicles, the acquisition of and installation of ultrasonic meters and automatic tank gauges, and the procurement of a transaction value assessment system, TVAS. Factual findings in the KPMG report tallied with our preliminary findings. Second, the KPMG report, much like our preliminary investigation, turned up more critical questions than answers, which required further investigation. Third, the KPMG audit's work and outcome differed significantly from the OSP investigation and likely outcome. Members of the press, while KPMG rightly identified the overall objective of its assignment as reviewing the work and activities of SML in relation to the contracts with the state and assessing the propriety of procurement and contracting processes as well as the appropriateness of cost-value analysis in the performance of the contracts, the OSV's work in this case is a criminal corruption and corruption-related investigation of not just assessing the propriety and appropriateness of acts and activities in the context of the SML contracts, but also examining the criminal culpability or otherwise of implicated persons, which is wider in scope and outlook than the audit work of KPMG. Then again, while the OSP's preliminary findings accorded with the major actual findings in the KPMG reports, the OSP found itself unable to agree with some major conclusions drawn by KPMG, especially in respect of accountability and value for money. The OSP investigation was concluded on 3 October 2025 after extensive surveillance, comprehensive review, and analysis of hundreds of relevant and related documents at MOF, GRA, and PPA, and digital and electronic review and analysis of thousands of relevant related documents and computer servers and hard drive components retrieved from two premises of SML at Osu in Accra and in Tema, and assets of SML at relevant depots, and the discovery and validation of electronic communication among the persons of interest, especially as a good number of the public officers involved did not use their official email addresses. The following persons with various corruption and corruption-related offenses before the end of November 2025. 1. Kenneth Nanayao Ofori-Atta, former Minister of Finance. 2. Ernest Akori, Chef de Cabinet to Kenneth Nanayao Ofori-Atta as Minister of Finance. 3. Emmanuel Kofinti, former Commissioner General of Ghana Revenue Authority. 4. Amishadai Owusu-Amoah, former Commissioner General of Ghana Revenue Authority. 5. Isaac Krenzel, former Commissioner of the Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority and General Manager of Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. 6. Kwejo Damwa, former Commissioner of the Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority and Member of Parliament for Jam and South constituency. As part of the process, the OSP will seek to recover the financial loss caused to them.
Okay, so from that announcement, the month of November is really pregnant with a number of prosecutions that will be taking place. But anyway, let's hear from the individual, the gentleman who broke this story with, at the time he was with the Fourth Estate, Manasseh Azuri. He's joining us all the way from the US via Zoom. Thank you for spending time with us. Already the president is taking a decision on this. He says that the contract has been terminated by government. At least that's the first step as we await the OSP's prosecution. But what's your initial reaction to this news that we're learning of, that the president has cancelled this contract?
Well, it is good news, and I highly commend President John Dramani Mahama for taking this step. I think whoever cut the visuals for this show focused on what SML has done and also what the processes the OSP took, but it did not bring out the findings of the OSP which correspond with our findings and gives more damning revelations, which also in a way confirms some of the KPMG findings and also discredits the conclusions of the KPMG audit.
Yeah, I get that. There was just a breach because of time. You can understand, yes.
Yes. This story, the SML one, should be understood in this context. We have had, as a country, numerous such deals in the past, mainly in the telecom industry. Some companies emerge overnight, claim they have revenue assurance competencies, claim everybody in the industry is a thief, and they are in to catch those thieves. They are brought in, plugged into a revenue stream, they milk the state dry, and go away without any value. And the part of the OSP's press conference that I referenced would actually say that this contract was not needed. And if you look at the KPMG report, it says there was no needs assessment because nobody really assessed that we needed this. If you look at the letter Ken Ofori-Atta wrote extending SML's services to the upstream petroleum sector and also the gold and minerals mining sector, that letter's wording said that the minister has determined that the services should be extended. So we went to the regulators of these sectors, the Minerals Commission, the Petroleum Commission, and the Ghana Petroleum Authority, National Petroleum Authority. And all of them said they were not consulted before this move was taken. We asked specifically the Petroleum Commission, which was then headed by someone appointed by the government in the MPP administration. And the commission said they did not know of any leakages, for which reason the SML contract was needed. We went again to the Minerals Commission, got the same response. And even the finance ministry told us they did not have any evidence or report of leakages that necessitated these contracts. So what they did was at the ports, they said SML should do external price verification and then transaction audit. If you look at the KPMG report and President Akufo-Addo's white paper on the KPMG audit, it said that these services were already configured into the customs systems, so they were not needed. But these services were rendered, and we paid over 500 million cedis for these services. Wow. Anybody who cares to know, read President Akufo-Addo's white paper, the KPMG report. Even before the special prosecutor came out, they said the external price verification and the transaction audit, which SML claimed to be doing at the Ghana ports, were not needed. So those contracts were cancelled as soon as the KPMG audit was done. But we paid over 500 million Ghana cedis for something that KPMG, the presidency, the OSP, and anybody who has their sanity intact and knows about these issues agreed we don't need it. So that's outright 500 million Ghana cedis lost.
Right.
Then also, we go to the downstream petroleum sector. In the past, there were reports that some oil marketing companies would lift petroleum product, go to sell, and wouldn't give the government its share of the taxes and revenue. These were mainly politically aligned OMCs who got into the business without the needed qualifications. So the NPA and GRA introduced a system called the Enterprise Relational Data Management System, ERDMS. And what this system does is to bring everybody on board so that if you're an OMC anywhere in Ghana and you want to go and lift petroleum product to come and sell, you have to place your order on that system. The NPA will clear you, the GRA will clear you, the depots and product owners will clear you. So if you owe taxes, this system would log you out automatically. This system is connected to the customs icons so that if you go and then lift a product, it will be recorded, and the recordings and volumes are used for tax purposes. Then the NPA contracted a company to do fuel marking, to track and then try to solve the problem of dilution of fuel products. Then they contracted another company to undertake tracking of the tankers. So these tankers that carry fuels along, each one of them, if you sit at the control room of the NPA, you are able to monitor them. And they are electronic seals. So if you load from Accra and then you say you are going to Bolgatanga to discharge, if you don't get to Bolgatanga and then you discharge this anywhere, it would send an automatic alarm to the NPA headquarters and then you'll be arrested. All of this came in to solve the problem of under-declaration or under-reporting, diversion, dilution of petroleum products. Then they brought a company called SML. And this company had no prior experience of doing any of these services. On 3 occasions, the GRA tried to use single source procurement method to engage this company, and then the PPA said, look, we cannot grant you that request because this company has no experience, it has no competencies to do this work. And then they disregarded the PPA, went to give this company those contracts. And this company claimed they were checking under-reporting, diversion, and dilution of petroleum products. Our investigation showed that these were falsehood. We confronted management of the company, and then on record, in the presence of GRA officials, they said, no, we are not doing any of these services. By the close of that day after our interview, they went and deleted these services from their website. So the question is, SML was never checking under reporting under declaration. SML was never checking dilution or diversion. So the question is, what solution did they bring? And the answer is nothing, which the OSP has confirmed.
Right.
The measurement SML was engaged in, the GRA did not use those measurements for any revenue purposes or tax purposes, because SML's own engineers told us that the existing meters at the loading gantries recorded more accurate readings than the SML meters. And if you read pages 157 and 158 of the KPMG audit, it clearly states how revenue or volumes increased or were recorded. And in that equation, you don't find SML featuring any positively. In fact, in terms of volumes, the KPMG report said SML recorded the least volumes. So this is a company that was brought in, has been paid over 1.4 billion Ghana cedis. Wow. We did not see any value. But for this investigation, Ken Ofori-Atta had masterminded another contract, the expansion of the contract, that would have ensured that SML would go away with over 500 million United States dollars.
Yeah, and speaking of the former finance minister, you've taken to social media to describe him as the mastermind, behind this scheme. Some would say you're fixated on the former finance minister. Is that the case?
These are facts, and if you look at the report we published, we have letters from the office of the finance minister written by Ernest Akori on behalf of Ken Ofori-Atta. And mind you, Ernest Akori and Ken Ofori-Atta are both fugitives of justice. They are at large. I have been doing investigations for many years now. I must say I've never lost a defamation case. I know and value people's reputation. So if I say Ken Ofori-Atta masterminded that outrageous contract, I'm speaking based on facts. And these are verifiable facts. There are letters to show, and the OSP is even giving more evidence of that.
The prosecution will continue. Would you have wished that we expedited action on the extradition? Because the OSP had attempted that. There's no way forward on what will happen as far as the extradition is concerned, but he wants to continue with the prosecution.
Yes, there is some politics going on with the extradition. There appears to be some bad blood between the Office of the Special Prosecutor and that of the Attorney General. Irrespective of whatever they say in public, some of us believe all is not well. I think that the expedited extradition should be pursued, but we shouldn't only focus on Ken Ofori-Atta. There is someone, the former Maslog CEO, Ationu Tamaklo, who has actually been convicted of corruption and corruption-related issues. And then I'm told, or we are told, that she's hiding somewhere in the US or elsewhere. Such people should be brought in. When it comes to corruption, I don't think we should select and choose what to pursue. Our country is bleeding with what we are seeing these days and what some of us knew. I believe in what President Mahama is said to have said some time back, that the economy was criminally managed. It appeared some few people just hijacked the national resources and found a way of channeling those resources outside of the national coffers. And we should not allow that to continue. And I don't think, if you love Ghana, you should look at these issues on MPP, NDC, or any political coloration.
Okay.
Manasseh, at the national interest.
Yeah.
So I support the extradition of Ken Ofori-Atta. If he thinks he's innocent, there are many people who are in the country clearing their names. So if he thinks he's innocent, he should come back home and face justice.
I see. Manasseh, just hold on for us, because my panelists and studio audience are itching to ask you a few questions. You have a few for him, right?
Not necessarily having questions for him. I can only commend him for the yeoman's job. I am on record to have supported any investigative journalism in this country. I love the work that he does. And he, Ofori-Atta, Anas Harimia or Anas, I am even on record to have said that, well, if you hate the work that they do, then you are either corrupt or an enabler of corruption. However, the work that they do is subject to some criticisms, and I think there are some few other things that we can point to. For instance, when he mentioned that they did not really do any work, which was confirmed by, he said, the president's white paper.
Yes.
But when you check the KPMG report, they said they did some work.
Partial. The word is partial, right? Partial.
Yes. I was saying that when you check the report, and again, let's just put it on record that when the issue came up, when they started running the stories in the Fourth Estate, what happened was that the president had to really call on the Minister of Finance and GRA to suspend the contract whilst KPMG was appointed to do the work. After the work by KPMG did not call for the abrogation of the contract. They said even the upstream, they said they should streamline it and make sure they are able to...
Yeah, but technically speaking, did KPMG have the powers at the time to call for the abrogation of the contract or otherwise?
They are an international accounting firm that has been tasked to do an auditing of the work done.
Yes.
And after they did everything, they gave recommendations. And as part of their recommendations, they never recommended abrogation.
I'm asking you that technically speaking within the context of the Constitution, does KPMG have that power to say, well, cancel the contract? It's the prerogative of the president of the government.
Not the power. I'm saying that they have been tasked to do an audit of the system. The journalist is on one side, and the institutions, GRA, Ministry of Finance, and the SML are also on the other side. Then they brought in an international accounting firm to verify these figures from the journalist and this one. After they are done, they give recommendations, and that's what they do. But
it would depend a while on the context of the contract, isn't it? And in this case, if you had the OSP rights, he says the corruption aspects, related aspects of Ken Ofori-Atta, what happened, that aspect has not been touched by KPMG.
But KPMG don't do
exactly what I'm telling you. So when it comes to the recommendation for the abrogation of the contract, you won't get that.
I'm saying that. If you check what even the OSP has presented, if you read the report, he started with a KPMG report and highlighted things within the KPMG report that he feels that indeed there are corruption and corruption-related issues that he will have to investigate. But I'm saying that if you say they had not done any work, a letter just on the 14th of October, just about 2 weeks ago, there was a letter from GRA that had confirmed that indeed they had done work and they paid them justifiably. This is just a letter that came just about 2 weeks ago, on the 14th of this month.
You have that letter?
Yeah, I have that letter, I said.
And the letter is saying what exactly?
Okay, so...
because I have not seen, and to be fair, while it's reading this letter to us, we've not seen it, we cannot independently...
So, Ghana Revenue Authority...
Are you sure this is a genuine letter?
So, check it.
I see GRA there, but I'm not too sure if it's...
But you have them, so you have others to be able to confirm. So and this is on my Joy online.
Okay.
So just check on my...
Yes, you like to refer me online.
Exactly.
I'll go there. But read the content.
Yes, so it's on the 14th of October 2020.
Saying what?
Response. The response to request for records relating to SML Ghana Limited, January 2017 to December 2024. So there's a reference made to the letter, blah, blah, blah. But they said, following review of the records, the authority provides the following responses. 1, record confirming work undertaken. The authority's reaction confirmed that SML Ghana Limited undertook work relating to transaction audit and external price verification services and revenue assurance in petroleum downstream sector in accordance with the constructual agreement executed with GRA. relevant reports and technical documentation covering the work done are available and may be reviewed upon request. That is one.
That's the first.
Two is that evidence of payments, evidence of all payments made to SML Ghana Limited from January to December 2024, January 2019 to December 2024 is available and has been compiled. Attached herein are copies of the payments schedules. Total paid. They only gave the amount of money. So
I see.
What I'm saying is that...
How does that confirm that indeed what work has been done? Because I haven't heard that in the document.
But what I read, the first point I read is that the records confirming work undertaken. So they had done the work and they were paid based on the work that they had done. Again, when you check even the KPMG report, they said that at least about 26 to 29% of the revenue that has tax revenue has been accrued by the state owing to the work that SML has been able to do. It's in the KPMG report, and Manasseh can confirm this. You understand? So what I'm only saying is that if you look at what the OSP has brought up, I was thinking that before this report will come up, he had already charged these people before the court. I am against prosecution in the public domain. Public prosecution is something that I am against.
Yeah, but you know what delayed the process a while? You know what delayed the process? What delayed the process was he put the former finance minister on red list because there were some questions he was supposed to answer. If Ken Ofori-Atta is innocent, why not have him in the country?
But you cannot really say that you can't continue with your case without the person here.
Is that what you're supporting? That a former government... I get that. It's easy to go there, but I'm saying...
Was jailed in absentia.
No, I get that. It's easy to do that. But if you have a former finance minister who cannot answer questions... In fact, the OSP never said he was arresting him. He says, come and answer questions.
He didn't ask him to come and answer questions. He only asked him to come and face him one-on-one.
Yes, precisely.
He could come to this country and by law decides not to speak to him. Yes.
And you're happy with that?
Yes. No, it's not that I am happy about that. The only thing is that when you are prosecuting people, you will have to prove beyond any reasonable doubt that the person is guilty, whether the person speaks or not. That's very important, and that's in law.
But as a former finance minister, you don't see the need for Ken Ofori-Atta?
Why is OSP not ready to interview him one-on-one where he is online?
Via Zoom, really?
Yes. He did that with the former president's junior brother, Samuel Mahama. He did that with him. He didn't go there. So why does he want to see Ken Ofori-Atta before he will be able to really proceed on his case? You see, the operations of the OSP, I have a lot of issues with what he does. OSP is telling us that he has 67 different cases that he is following up. In the last 3 or 4 years, the amount of money we have expended at the OSP's office is over 200 million Ghana cedi. He has not been able to really recover even up to 5 million Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Not even 5 million Ghana cedis.
Yeah,
he will only make noise.
You're calling this noise?
Yes, because you see, he has gone to court with cases and had lost. Look at when with the LaBianca issue. He sent Colonel Damois. Colonel Damois sued him and won the case. And the OSP had to pay some damages to Colonel Damois. Again, the man in Dwabin, our constituency chairman in Dwabin, he also won a case just about 2 months ago against the same OSP.
Have you read the Auditor General's latest reports?
Yes. There are
have you seen the infractions?
Auditor General's reports are not necessarily corruption. There are infractions.
Infractions to you doesn't suggest that there's some wrongdoing.
No, you see, when you are supposed when you are supposed to really render some account and you don't render that account with your documentations and so on, they write it as an infraction. If you come and you are able to prove that indeed there are receipts to them, I was the head of public relations for Youth Employment Agency. Yeah. I had faced auditors in post-auditing conference, and they had raised some infractions.
So
and after they raised the infractions, if you're able to really prove them, you see, you don't necessarily need him in the jurisdiction to be able to really listen to him, because it has been done to some other people.
Stephen,
I still will be happy if he's in this country to face all these things. But you see, the person is saying that I am not well and I cannot come, and has given you his address, why can't
his lawyers just told us
travel there?
His lawyers just told us it's okay.
Why can't he also travel there?
Travel to the US. Why can't Ken Ofori-Atta travel to?
But he did that with other cases. Because it was just the former president of the republic, so he could do that with the brother of the former president of the republic, but cannot do that with Ken Ofori-Atta. Is that what the OSP is saying?
So what's preventing Ken Ofori-Atta from coming?
I do not know. But the lawyers are saying that he cannot come because he's in this
Yeah, but we've heard from Frank Davis now saying he's okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So they are saying that proceed with your case, because you can still proceed with your case without necessarily having to meet him one-on-one. He can still be in this country and still decides not to speak to you.
Okay, Stephen, let me hear on this.
You will have to prove.
Yes, I will want first and foremost to applaud Manasseh Azure, my brother. I mean, Manasseh, I always say, is an institution by himself, because if you look at the stance he always takes when it's NDC and he takes up issues, investigation that doesn't go down with the NDC, they see him anti-NDC. Today, if he's also taking investigation
against the MPP,
against issue, they say, hey, he's doing that for the bidding of the NDC. But today, he's been vindicated. If you look at, he started with Collins Dawda, with the Zoom Lion, Dustbin, whatever, to date. So I think I applaud him, and I know there are more Manassehs in our country here that we should arrange. I mean, we should protect them. I think the journalism something should fight more to give protection.
GJA, you mean?
Yes, yes, to give more protection to journalists or people that want to take matters into their own hands and make sure that there's value for money, corruption-free in our country. And I also want to applaud His Excellency John Dramani Mahama that it shouldn't take a report from KPMG, yes, for him to know that I have to terminate a contract. That makes you a precedent, because for the fact that if an institution is being audited or a report is being given, I mean, they shouldn't decide what government you are brought to audit. After auditing, is the prerogative of government to say, are we prosecuting, are we terminating, are we getting refund, are they? So I don't think it should be an issue that they should have the prerogative to recommend what government should do. So I think that is what, and we also accept that there must be bad economy, there must be bad governance, there must be bad decision in politics for a change of government. If there is no bad economy, bad governance, there wouldn't be a change of government, or structures will not work. So I think that what happened to that SML institution is like tigers being so good in the jungle, knowing that we are in control, calling hyenas that, look, come. Look, there is meat here, we are tired of it, or come and pave way, and so it's so sad for such institution to be established. I don't think there is no appointee or individual who will sit down and say, let me just create, loot and share. I think people create institutions for good reasons. People create silos or other arm of government for good reasons. There is no president that will say, I'm creating I'm going to be a president for Ghanaians to suffer. There should be inflation, there should be this or bad. People are just born, some people are born, give them a full house load of money. They will come out empty. Are you getting me? They will take back with a good intention, whether NDC or MPP. They've set up systems that with a good intention. But what hurts me to the guts is that we are in a country, then we see that Electricity Corporation, we are bringing a company from US, we are bringing another institution from outside the country to come and manage. It's sometimes I hold my stomach. Are we saying 45 million? What is a million Ghanaians? We don't have our own that we can manage our own system. Our own. Somebody built Akosombo was built by a Ghanaian. I'm making a point. Then just managing it, taking people's money today. You pay for the lights before you even go and put it. And we can't manage it. We cannot manage it. So
you feel revenue assurance should even
saying
arise?
That it's parts and parcel. It's not only if you go to certain institutions that they will create some big name, register it, led by somebody who speaks lines with certificate from outside the country, knows practically nothing. They will tell us, Mr. from this company with experience, they have come to It's a shame. I'm sad as a Ghanaian seeing this. It is sad. Look, if you go to other countries, even if created that, let's assume that you don't even think outside the box. your government is even, you have no people that think for us that we are capable of managing our own affairs. In every jurisdiction, let's say, are we saying that we cannot create an institution that maybe decentralize it? Look, we have districts, right? Are we saying that we can't create employment in every district? They know the houses. Yeah. They put every system.
But now the question, efficiency is what you are calling for.
Yes.
But now there's also the aspect.
I want to applaud the special prosecutor. The postmortem that he did in the report, that he was able to retrieve the rot, bringing names out and whatever. And I think let's give him.
Yeah, the aspect about accountability.
The names that he brought.
Yes.
He couldn't link the names to corruption.
How?
You see, none of the individuals he mentioned are directors of SML.
It doesn't take directors to
you understand? They are not. They're not directors of SML.
You call one person.
About having
people have sat in different offices. Look, this country, people with pens and papers in their offices. There are more armed robbers than those who take guns and just take people.
Okay, to touch on the issue of the extradition of the former finance minister.
I think that per our constitution, that we have the right to extradite or right to any country if somebody has to face it. But I don't think we have exhausted all our options. I don't think the courts have also, the Attorney General, whatever. There are so many ways that you force a person to come into the country and face the law.
You feel Ken Ofori-Atta could be spoken to just to...
Yeah, I think, look, it should be extraditing somebody, I think should be the last option after exhausting all the legal means. Remember, a murderer has a right. A killer has a right. You don't just... That's why we don't condone instant justice. For the fact that somebody... Kromfo, it means a death sentence in circle. Wafamadio. To me, it's unacceptable that even sitting here, our communique, we shouldn't be judgmental or even find people guilty. Like example, what my brother already found Jabiru guilty of.
I mentioned stories of what I was saying.
So I think
I didn't find him guilty. I mentioned stories of things that he had done.
Okay, I said like
Ken Ofori-Atta.
Yes, Ken Ofori-Atta. I can't say he's been a finance.
You feel he should just come back on his own?
I think he should come back on his own and appealing. And I think both his side and his legal team who represent and whoever signed. Look, my brother, put me on record today that I think the Chief Justice, I'm pleading with him, with the judges, based on the bail bonds that I'm seeing in this country, is scary. Even asking somebody to bring 800 million Ghana cedis. And I ask whoever
with landed property,
whoever even brings such surety to bail somebody should be investigated. That where did you get that money?
People are not coming up.
Have you paid tax?
Okay.
Look, I'm appealing. I could be a victim when there's a change of government. I'm just saying, this is not a joke. It's a lot of money. When I hear the demand of 150 million Ghana for a bill for a wife, 100 million,
50 million for the wife.
50 million for the wife and 100 million. I'm not saying I don't condone corruption.
It is
unacceptable.
How?
I don't believe that we should loot. We should loot if we are given an opportunity to serve. But because we are in the country guided by the law, it's an allegation till proven guilty. I think that the judges, Chief Justice, I'm pleading, the stakeholders of the country,
they should work on that.
They should work on.
All right,
it's very cumbersome. That's a lot of money demanded.
Okay, so before we hear from Janet, I understand Manasseh would have to go to some other platforms. You had wanted to. So let me just bring in Manasseh briefly, Janet, before or you wanted to ask him a few things. Okay, yes, a few things.
Okay, so we've spoken about this SML and. KPMG,
yes, the report.
This is to me, dear. I think what Manasseh has done is a great job. He's a journalist, so he should not add personal sentiments into it and try to prosecute the person before the person gets opportunity to go to the court.
Why are you saying that?
He has gone and he has gotten his findings. He shouldn't say that this one was... This one was a mastermind, something, blah, blah, blah. You've not sent them to court. The judge is the only person who have the power to be able to tell us who is guilty and who is not guilty. A lot of people are complaining that Ken Ofori-Atta doesn't want to come back. If I'm him, I'm not coming back. this is not a conducive environment.
You will come back.
I'll never come back to a country whereby there is no democracy. They are using military regime. As you come back, Ghana is being run like a military regime. And I want Manasseh Azure, I'm coming. I want Manasseh Azure to know that the democracy is in their mouth. The systems that they are running with is autocracy. So I don't expect anyone to come back. Look, I am sad that people, what they are saying, no, it pains me that they have no jobs. And then someone can take about 125 million Ghana cedis just to put it in their pocket, because these are allegations. So because they are allegations, I want to give the people the benefit of the doubt. Just as he was saying, the Auditor General comes out with infractions, and what usually happens is that after the infractions, you realize that when the people respond, they will just clear everything up. So Manasseh Azure and the OSP have come out to give us some allegations. The two of them are not the final outcome of anything. What he has said is contestable in court. So what they have said are just allegations. We are waiting for the one that they have alleged these things on to come and defend himself.
Yeah, and you are saying that he shouldn't come. Yeah, he was saying he shouldn't come. Yeah.
Here is the case. We don't have the enabling environment for him.
And what do you?
Why am I saying this? Why am I saying this? Other people who decided to stay in the country were treated like armed robbers. Like they jailed them, gave them an abnormal bail conditions that they couldn't meet. I went and sat with the Yoko boss and asked him, in this country, can you be able to find this amount of money to bail yourself?
Yeah, but he wasn't the one who gave the conditions.
He is the one who, he told me that those bail conditions were given because of the amount
the 800 million one, for instance, was from the court.
It was from the, that brings me to the next level. That brings me to the next level. There is no any democracy in Ghana. Because when a government comes, our cause, anytime someone wants to give example, you see Manasseh is very happy enjoying himself in US. If he's here, he will not get that enjoyment.
So you feel Ofori-Atta should not come back?
Even the courts are being toxic towards people whom they have.
Okay, let me find out from Manasseh before I get back to you all. Manasseh, you've been accused of taking sides already.
He's on one side.
Well, I speak to facts. I don't take. I don't. First of all, let me be clear that I'm not one of those journalists who believe in neutrality. The former this freedom fighter in South Africa, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, he once said that if you are neutral in a situation of oppression, then you have taken the side of the oppressor. And he went on to say that if the elephant, not the MPP elephant, the elephant has its foot on the tail of a mouse and you claim to be neutral, the mouse will not recognize your neutrality. What I do is I try to be very fair, and I do my fairness with evidence. I am reading to you a letter written from the Finance Ministry, dated 22nd June 2023. And it is signed by Ernest Akori, Chief de Cabinet. And this is the man who is at large with Ken Ofori-Atta. And this is what the letter says. Expansion of the scope of work by Mrs. Strategic Mobilization Limited, SML. The Honorable Minister, who was the Honorable Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, who is now running from justice, as we are told, has determined that there is a need to monitor the production and shipment of oil and gold out of the country. To this end, he will like to expand, Ken Ofori-Atta, would like to expand the scope of the revenue assurance work being performed by SML to include upstream oil drilling by the oil production companies and the gold mine.
As a result of the 1.4 billion
companies.
SML had done
The attached revised contract has been reviewed by the legal department of the Ministry of Finance. However, because the Ministry of Finance, MOF, and the Ghana Revenue Authority signed the original contract on behalf of the government, there is a need for the GRA to also review and opine on the expanded contract before signing. Kindly forward the new proposed contract to GRA's legal department for their review and input. This letter says something very important, that the minister has determined. To this end, he would like to expand the scope of the revenue assurance contract. So, if I'm saying Ken Ofori-Atta masterminded this contract, I am not being sentimental, emotional, or personal. These are facts. And if you read the rejoinder from GRA, the first rejoinder when we did our investigation, it is online. Awal can confirm. They went on to confirm this letter. So, I am stating facts. I'm not judging anybody.
Okay, the feeling now is that even the former finance minister...
The former finance minister wrote that letter to expand because of the work that had been done downstream.
Okay.
And it is confirmed that indeed they had increased the revenue by
when he was speaking, I did not speak. So let me speak.
Manasseh, go ahead.
Can you allow me to finish?
I was just going to ask you about the point that Janet.
But let me respond to our welfare. He made some claims which are not true.
Okay.
Our very first report we did, our investigation, we pointed out that this is what they are doing. They are recording, and I said it, repeated it on this show, that the recordings they take, the GRA does not use those recordings for whatever purposes. The work they were doing was already being done by other companies. Okay, so I never said anywhere that they did not do anything. And if Awel would tell you, the person who signed that letter he read on the show is called Freeman Saba.
Yes, he's director legal.
Director legal?
Or head legal of the GRA.
Yes.
He can confirm that.
Yeah, that's true.
If you look at the contract that Ken Ofori-Atta masterminded, I mean this consolidated contract that gave the company up to $500 million. Who witnessed that contract on behalf of the GRA? It is Freeman Saba.
Wow.
What point am I driving at?
That.
A GRA is an accomplice in all of this. Officials of the GRA and SML and Ministry of Finance came together to cook these deals that are being questioned. Two, it is also going to be unfortunate to say that because these are not officials or directors of SML, they should not and cannot be charged for corruption. I think the onus lies on them even more because they are appointed into public office, given the trust of the citizens to act on our behalf. Abu Gapele went to jail.
Yes.
Okay? Abu Gapele went to jail. And Awal worked at the Youth Employment Agency.
Yeah.
That was the first corruption investigation I did in this country. Was Abu Gapele a private person? No. The Maslok CEO was not a private person. So it is wrong to suggest that because these people are not directors of SML, they cannot be charged for corruption. And the KPMG report, when KPMG was appointed, many people, including some civil society organizations, had concerns with KPMG's appointment because KPMG was a client or working for the Ghana Revenue Authority. The director or a managing partner of KPMG at the time of this report is now the GRA Commissioner General. You have top officials of GRA who are now working at SML. So this is a murky equation. And just to read something from President Akufo-Addo's white paper on the KPMG report, just the last one. He said, as part of the recommendations, the president said the transaction audit and external price verification services may also be terminated. According to KPMG's findings, GRA obtained partial value or benefit for those services. This was due to the lack of monitoring on the part of GRA to ensure that SML performed the services as stipulated in the contracts. KPMG's investigation found that GRA has introduced external price verification tools as part of ICOMS, among other functions. This renders reliance on SML for external price verification redundant. And this is what we've been trying to say all along, that the people you have brought to do this work, you are already doing it, and you are not relying on them. If you go to the petroleum sector, you have companies that are checking diversion, dilution, under declaration, and under reporting. And that is why when we ask these officials of GRA that these are things you claim to be doing and saving the country money, but our investigation showed that you are not doing them, how do you respond?
Yeah, I get that.
They did not defend it.
Right.
What they did was to delete them. They said they have saved 3 billion, and people are mentioning that I don't know where he got that figure, that thing from, that 20-something% KPMG said they had saved. Read pages 157 and 158 of the KPMG report and talk of the revenue increment. KPMG said that what accounts for the revenue growth is mainly taxes. At the time, there were 2 taxes, and the taxes increased to 5. And as the years go by, the number of people who had cars in Ghana in 2010 will not be the same number that have cars
Obviously.
in 2015.
Okay.
More people are going to buy fuel. More people are going to buy maybe diesel and others.
And that will
More
automatically
people,
increase the margin. Yeah.
Yes. And they conclude by saying that for any measurement or anything to be taxable, it has to go through the ICOMS.
Okay.
And it is not the SML measurement that goes through ICOMS.
Manasseh,
how do you credit SML with revenue growth?
A number of questions
for you.
So
the KPMG report is problematic. Some of us raised it. Some civil society groups, including, and then people like Bryce Simmons, said they raised concerns about the conclusion.
I get that.
OSP has also raised it.
Manasseh, what I want to do now is also come to my studio audience. There's a number of them having questions for you. My panelists have also been asking you about the Ken Ofori-Atta bit as to whether or not the environment is safe for him enough to come back. Do you feel that the environment is indeed safe for him? While I bring in Kamal and the rest.
I don't think someone has been killed. People go to the OSP and they've all been granted bail. I think those who went to the OSP in relation to the SML scandal, all these people who went there, I think only 3 or so of them were detained for only a night. The following day, they granted them bail. So I don't think that the OSP has, and I don't remember the OSP placing any outrageous bail condition on anybody.
Okay.
Listen.
So
Janet has
all those who have been charged are in their houses and they'll be going to court.
All right.
I don't see why people say Ken Ofori-Atta is right to stay out because the environment is not conducive. I don't know what it means. If it's clean, Damwa we are hearing, I don't even think he was ever put in custody or anything.
All right.
Kofi Nti, no. So I I don't know what they are talking about.
Okay, Manasseh, here's what I want us to do. Let's get
how the OSP.
Yeah, let's get a few questions from the audience for you. Before then, Janet has a point to also for you. Yeah, briefly, so I can get the audience to.
Manasseh Asure is a journalist.
Yes,
he's supposed to protect the vulnerable in society. The government now is the one who is having an overwhelming power, and he's using that power to witch hunt his political opponents, which is the truth. If he cannot see, I will be wondering what type of journalism he's doing.
He says he's not neutral. He's just told us.
So that is the most scariest aspect. If Manasseh Asure is telling me that he has not seen any bail condition being abnormal, it will scare me to the bone. And more to the point, with his investigation,
he's not a OSP.
The OSP will have to go to court, and it's the court that imposed these stringent measures. That's the problem. The OSP, yes, I'm just supporting. The OSP may not have really given any stringent bail condition. But if he sends it to the court, it's the court that gave these stringent.
Have you ever seen the court? Have you ever seen the court doing that? The Ghanaian court.
Yeah, they did that.
No, the Ghanaian court.
In the case of Hanan.
Okay, let's allow. Okay, yeah. So let's get the point.
The Ghanaian court doing that. It is based on which political party and what influences them. That is the most curious aspect. We don't have an independent judiciary. They are in the hands of the which political parties in power. Yes. And that is the reason why we have a problem in Ghana. And I think the judiciary should bow their head.
So are you suggesting that if someone has done something wrong, we don't have the right to ask them questions anymore?
It's not a matter of saying that. When the atmosphere is a military regime atmosphere, I won't come and...
Yeah, but we're here on TV, you're speaking freely your mind.
Let me tell
nobody's chasing
when
you.
When you go to the court and they are turns, and then you go to Supreme Court and they say, no, you pass here, you can see that the judge is in a hurry to just jail you so that somebody will clap hands for him that you have done well. That is when you realize that this condition is not good for me. I am not giving a fair hearing.
But if Ofori-Atta hasn't done anything...
that is what Manasseh Asure should be looking at. That I have done this research, but I don't want somebody to go to jail for a crime he has not committed. It is better for the person to be free than to go to jail for a crime he has not committed. That's what Manasseh Asure should be working towards. So when he sees that in every way they are trying to make sure that people go to jail no matter what, somebody must go to jail for people to think that we are fighting corruption, it should be a worrying trend for him. My final question to him is this. You're a journalist. Why are we always looking for interdictions about people who are corrupt instead of closing the loopholes? Let me tell you something that the Auditor General advised the NDC administration. They are talking about this NSA looting. It is not only MPP people who are doing it. The NDC did it. When you look at appointments, people want to go there.
Yeah, but if you've done it and we have evidence, so we should be able to prosecute you.
Why should you be wasting your time?
Is punishment not an effective way? Is punishment not an effective way of checking people's misbehavior?
Why should we waste the taxpayers' money in prosecuting people when we can close?
Are you saying we're wasting money to prosecute?
Listen, we can close. You are not listening to the.
Yeah, but the point is,
yeah, but by making sure that you take that payroll from them and give it.
Yes, but if you have misbehaved, you must be accountable.
Accountable. Yeah. But your party members are there now looking to how can we steal without being caught. We take it away.
Let me come to the audience. Come on, let me hear from you. And I'll put that to Manasseh shortly. Yes.
Thank you very much. This is GBC, May 7, 2022. I don't feel...
You mean the state broadcaster?
Yes. Yeah. I don't feel safe now as a journalist, Manasseh. And part of the code...
Manasseh Asure is saying
sorry,
that?
Asure.
Which year was this?
This is 2022. 2022.
Okay.
And part of quotation, I'm quoting what GBC put it. I had to go out of the country on 2 occasions. He added, Manasseh. He's a journalist, so when he felt it wasn't safe for him, he had to. But today he's saying that nobody has been killed. To sarcastically mean that he can come, because why... Unless Manasseh wants us to feel that he is more important. Yes, he wasn't even arrested. Yeah. According to him, because of he's published some stories. And
he did a story, my militia in the heart of the city.
And according to him,
surely work.
Even Manasseh made a certain claim sometime back that to justify his claim that when he did a publication during President Mohammed's regime, late Omani Boama called him and said that he knows that this is a serious story he has done. So if he wants protection, they will get him a police just to try to run the Nanado government down. Today, if another person feels not safe to come into the country, Manasseh is saying nobody has been killed. This is strange. You see,
yeah, but is this not an OSP case? Has the OSP not demonstrated that he's only willing to have a conversation with the former finance minister?
Listen, where I'm taking it from that Manasseh's justification for the former finance minister to come is that nobody has been killed. But he wasn't killed either. But he had to run out of the country.
According
to him, he was threatened.
Manasseh, I see Manasseh on.
He wasn't arrested. Nobody even. But he just claimed he wasn't safe.
Yeah, Manasseh wants to have a brief word on that. I'll come to you. Yeah. Manasseh.
Let me start with this claim of people are victimized, and because of that we should protect them, and then my aim should be not to jail people who have not committed a crime. The same person saying that we shouldn't judge is the same person concluding that people should not be jailed for crimes they have not committed. We know that 1.4 billion Ghana cedis has been paid from our consolidated funds or our resources to a private company. The quote I read to you was something from President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who said that services that this company was providing were redundant because the customs and the GRA were already doing that.
He shouldn't be pushing this.
So if we pay money to hire somebody to do what is already being done, and the people knew it, why should they not respond, come and answer? And this thing about only making it appear as if we don't have precedents of people being jailed or called to account. I cited the example of Abu Gapele, who was a former NDC member of parliament. Under President Mahama, when I did the JIDA report, an investigation just like this, Abu Gapele and another person, Philip Asibit, were jailed 5, 6, and 12 years respectively. Did we say it was political witch hunting? This was an NDC administration jailing its own people.
I get the point. I get the point.
Just a second. This national service issue. Under NDC.
Okay. Manasseh, I'll come back to you. Just hold on. Manasseh, just hold on briefly.
President Mahama appointed as the Director of National Service.
Yes.
Was investigated and put before court.
Manasseh, there's so much uproar in the studio. There's so much uproar in the studio, and so many more questions for you.
Let me address this issue. Let me address the question
briefly, because I need to go to them. They have some more questions for you. Yes.
Yes. The question I want to address is to say that, or to suggest that Ken Ofori-Atta is above everyone else. And that, okay, he is free to go. People are talking about the safety of journalists. Safety of journalists have been concerns. It is true what Omani Boama did. I said it. It is also true that we were in this country when a certain journalist did a story that a leading member of the New Patriotic Party, who now wants to be a presidential candidate, put his photograph on TV and said, look, this is the man, you don't know him. He lives in Medina here. If you find him anywhere, slap him and attack him, and I'll be held responsible. That journalist was shot and killed. I'm talking of Ahmed Swali. And as we speak, there is nothing that has been done. And to clarify my comment, I was specifically referring to the OSP and the victims, or sorry, the suspects in
involved.
this particular case.
Yeah, I get that. Okay.
So I did not speak generally on everything.
On anything. You were talking about the OSP case, yes.
On the OSP, and these people in the SML scandal, that they have asked, some just went to answer questions, and they went home, nothing happened to them. So that shouldn't be a reason we say.
I get your point. So yes, and of course that's what's been our focus now. The OSP case, actually. Let's be fast about this. So many more interesting.
Let's
be brief, so I can give the opportunity.
You need to give me.
Yeah.
Let's put it on record that Manasseh has been evasive. None of the panelists here has said that the former finance minister should not be prosecuted. In fact, if I remember clearly,
but let's focus on the case. Manasseh has done his work.
If the OSP even wants, he can start the trial without necessarily having the presence of the former finance minister. You see, the OSP's office is such a wasteful office, and Kisei Jabin is even making it more glaring to me. You see, the OSP and the AG are beginning to make nonsense of the presumptions of innocence until proven guilty. Manasseh continuously says that he speaks to facts. His facts will only stand as a fact if it's tested in the court of law. Then it becomes fact. So he shouldn't say that I'm speaking to fact and trying to accuse people of saying that they masterminded. Just as Madam said here, for someone to mastermind an issue, it will be accepted in the court of law that yes, the former finance minister really masterminded. So we shouldn't make it seem as if that the fact that he is going to do his investigation, because the court has the right to admit a certain kind of evidence or reject it.
All right, but I get that. Let me go to the back because we didn't give them an opportunity earlier. They have the microphone already. Yes, let's hear you briefly and be mindful of time so we can give the opportunity to everyone to have a say before we go. Yes.
Just as Kamal mentions that the Manasseh Azuri, when he was being a journalist, sometime along the line he was feeling unsafe, and then Omani Boama wanted to make a provision of security for him. I think same can be applied to Ken Ofori-Atta as the former finance minister. He can come, the country is safe, and if only securities are there, provisions can be made.
I get your point now. So you want us to give a security guarantee to the former finance minister?
Yes, if only he's feeling unsafe. He said he's feeling unsafe. The country is unsafe for him to come.
You feel that's a possibility?
Yeah, that's how he feels. So a security can be made provision for him. People, all those other people that we see here being suspected of such cases, nothing has been done to them. Nobody is harming them. And the SML,
so the same case you're referring to, they say that, and we're not picking on Manasseh, but he says Manasseh left. So the former finance minister, if it's not
but the former finance minister has to come and respond. Because we the youth, we don't know what's happening. We are in a dilemma as to if it is allegations that are being kept on, or it's really true that this is what happened.
So he must answer questions.
He should answer.
Yeah, your colleague there also has a point behind. Before I come to the gentleman from Winneba, if we can hear the point you had wanted to make briefly. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Bless. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I think first of all, let me start from where my sister ended. I understand their plight because she's from Teen and she's here to represent their political party. But the provision of security she's talking about can only be secured for the likes of Kevin Taylor and not Ken Ofori-Atta.
And let me also,
yes, because it happened clearly when the protector Kevin Taylor.
In fact, it's on record that when the former finance minister was leaving, he had written to the chief of staff. That means that he has some level of confidence in the government that they could.
Permit me to also continue from where Madam also ended, that we have to oppose corruption with all the strength we can marshal whilst we are in government. It's very, very important. And that is the only commitment, right, we can use to curb corruption. Because today as we speak, there are wild allegations out there where every month 20,000 Ghana cedis of the taxpayers' money is used to pay party members in their various constituencies to run their political party. That is not why we voted for President Mahama. And they cannot use money from the presidency to be servicing their parties in the various constituencies. That are some of the focus where the OSP has to put its focus on. And you see, the issue of this OSP, we all cannot run away from the fact that the press briefing was necessitated. Right, the press briefing was necessitated because of the NDC members who are agitating, and some Ghanaians who are agitating that they are not seeing the efficiency of the office of the special prosecutor, like the likes of Kevin Taylor, who is a key advisor to the current government, saying he must be sacked and all that. And also a petition which was given to the president to take him out of office. So basically, if the OSP is having something to stand by, he should go to court. Okay. He should go and prosecute whoever he wants to prosecute. And Kevin Fred has a responsibility to come and respond over there.
Thank you for that intervention. Let's hear you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Blessed. You know, as young people, the point that I would want us to bear in mind is that we shouldn't be doubling up in some of the allegations and claims that my brother seems to be doubling up in. You see, we cannot say that when duty bearers are given the responsibility to do a thing or two, and in the aftermath of their tenure, they can decide whether or not to come and stand accountability. I think it is just a sine qua non. They must come. It doesn't matter.
Do you believe in the fact that the former finance minister perhaps does not feel safe?
Really, does it even matter if the place is not safe for him? I think that you see, and no. You see, frankly, we are just assuming that the place is not safe. In the country where we are now, what evidence is there for us to show to say that the country is not safe? For the finance minister to come down and only answer to the responsibility that he was entrusted with during his tenure.
Great questions you asked.
So those are not stuff that we have to factor in discussing that matter. But that is even besides the point. The point that I seek to make is that this cancellation of the contract is long overdue. Because as we know, the cancellation is based on the KPMG reports, and we all know when the KPMG...
It's not based on that.
The president, the president says that the
consequences to this cancellation. That's what KPMG
anyway, but whatever the case, the president has taken his decision.
I'm talking about the eventual cancellation, which is to say that when did the reports come out? It was March last.
Whatever the case, the president has taken his decision.
So I believe that if due regard had been paid to the fine, then perhaps the cancellation would have been the logical thing to do. But Mr. Blessed, I think that this is the final point I would want to make, which I would want you to pay attention to, is the fact that you see this KPMG and SML thing that we know of is symptomatic of a bigger issue that fraught our governance infrastructure. If we look at, for instance, the PDS deal. The PDS deal was one that, as we know, one of the biggest flaws of that contract was that no, please hold on. One of the biggest flaws of that contract was that there was an assumption that the reinsurance guarantee that was issued by Meralco was assumed to be valid.
Okay, let's give
that was what the law.
Let's give the opportunity.
What the law permits. But indeed, if the law permits,
so let me take some. I get that. Let me take some messages coming through. Okay, I'll do that. Let me give the opportunity to the gentleman, then I'll take the... be brief with that. 30 seconds.
Okay, former Tesco University Treasurer and current Council President. No one is against the prosecution of the former minister. And also, no one is against the dealings of the Office of the Special Prosecutor as well. And at this stage, Ghanaians are requesting for what clarity and consistency in the dealings of the OSP. And the OSP keeps on updating us as if we are watching new episode. Today, yesterday he declared fugitives. Today, so he said we should give up to November.
All right. This is what I'll do. Let me take apologies to you. Let me take this message. This one is from Rafael Ahmed Domet Elom in Sogakope. He says that the OSP must go. He is not helping the country to fight corruption at all. What he's displaying, in my opinion, is rather protecting suspects. And there are so many of you sending your messages. Sly says Ghanaians are waiting for the removal of the OSP, followed by the EC chairperson and their deputies. And thank you all. Let me give the final word. So let me start with you, Stephen, because we need to go. Your concluding remarks on this.
What we've discussed is very important. I pray and hope that leadership will take into consideration the views that we shared in terms of, I think there should be a state of emergency declared on appointees first.
Right.
For the appointees to act. If they fail, then I recommend shoot to kill.
Okay.
And also in terms of Manasseh giving us an eye-opening and fighting to get, trying to get justice for the people of Ghana.
All right.
My worry is that the amount of money that I hear being paid to people internally, the same amount of money that we go to borrow. I get it.
I get
it
that.
means if we can manage the economy well, there's the resources in this country not to be borrowing money with all kinds of...
We need to go.
So Abuga Pele was not jailed under President Mahama. He was jailed under President Akufo-Addo. We did that trial for more than a year before we were able to get the conviction.
But the process started.
That's the fact. And again,
we gave the dog to hang.
Appending the signature of Freeman is the mandate of him. It's a mandate and not necessarily out of place, because if Joy FM is entering into an agreement with any entity, is the director legal who signs it. So he has nothing.
Yes.
To me, I think that corruption is what funds from two particular political parties in this country. And
it's the NDC rather.
Even though one is coming out that he's this, Ghanaians know that he cannot fight corruption because his hands are dirty.
Okay. That's President Manasseh, your final take. Manasseh, your final take. Manasseh, your final take.
Ofori-Atta has never said that he is out because he feels unsafe. Officially, we are told he is sick.
Yes.
So the safety is not an issue that his lawyers have told us. That is one.
He's not saying.
Two, I stand by my point that when I say mastermind, there's evidence to say that the person who initiated the contract is the mastermind of that contract I was talking about.
All right, Manasseh. Great. Yeah, thank you so much. And thanks for spending some time with us. Joining us from the U.S., Manasseh Azuri, investigative journalist. To you, Awal Mohammed, National Communications team member of the NPP. Stephen Atugiga, founder of the NLC, yes, National. I almost said